Okay, I apologise for the quality of the video. I'm pretty tired. I don't usually make these sort of videos. It's not my thing, actually. And it's bad quality. I had to use Google Earth, and it was a real hassle. But the main thing is that the narrative is that the Mediterranean Basin was very similar to Death Valley in California, a massive area, very low, an old lake or sea which had dried out, and with the reopening of the Mediterranean and the separation of Africa from Europe, the whole area was flooded, as this animation shows, and there is water pouring down off of these mountains south of Sicily and pouring in to the basin below at what they say was a rate of equivalent to 60,000 Amazon rivers, until the whole thing filled up. I was recently very interested to see this, what looks like a monolith that they found on the bottom of the Mediterranean. Not too surprising, but as you'll see in the following narrative, there's very contradictory opinions going on here.
At the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, archaeologists uncovered a 10,000-year-old man-made monolith that they believe is evidence of a prehistoric civilization. The rock monument's colossal size, 12 meters, or about 39 feet in height, suggests that quite a few people would have been needed to move it, something that would have been difficult if, as previously suspected, the inhabitants had been hunter-gatherers living relatively solitary lifestyles. The find, which is actually the second of its type, has led archaeologists to suspect that civilization may have already been shifting towards our modern way of life, earlier than previously thought, according to evoanth.com. Together, the two monoliths, the other one was found in Turkey Göbekli Tepe, suggest that different groups in different parts of the world were beginning to develop a modern way of life simultaneously. What was it that was driving so many people, so far apart in the same direction? Asks evoanth.com. We can't be sure, but it seems the scientists are one step closer to finding out.
Okay, for some context, we've got New York here. It's 31.6 kilometers. And here we've got London, and it's 50.4 kilometers from somewhere in Suffolk to Slough. Considered quite a big area, I guess. So this one down the bottom, it's 15 kilometers across. Pretty freaky. Probably not natural. Here's another one, 22 kilometers across. Very, very rectangular. Here's a bit of a mother. I think it's 79 kilometers across. It's kind of square shaped, or at least on three sides. I guess those pinnacles must be maybe a kilometer high, something like that. These weird series of holes set in a very cubey background are about 5 kilometers apart, each one of them. Very, very regular, and the impression of a square around the outside, I think, and a track at the top. This one with a very distinctive checkerboard shape, as you can see. It's 28 kilometers, a modest 28 kilometers for some of these possible constructions. This one's 34 kilometers across. There's a lot of strange detail seems to be embedded into the mountains, but I don't know if that's my imagination. Those lions heading upwards. Those. One at 24 kilometers seems to be a very central hub in comparison to all the others. It has tracks leading off of it in 4 directions, I think, and stands quite close to a large mountain you can see at the bottom. I should add that the sizes for the circles, it's obviously the diameter of the circle, not the exact sizes of these structures, but it's a pretty rough estimate. You can see on the bottom of the screen how large the areas are. Here slightly larger, 36 kilometers, larger 26 kilometers in the Ionian Gap. Once again, the tracks to the north and south, which must be very wide. I've measured them, but they're a couple of kilometres across, no idea what they are. But they seem to head off in different directions in relatively straight lines. There's 36 kilometres, very, very blocky. Kind of connects up with a couple of others close by. It's a very long structure. Heads towards the south on 2 sides, as you can see, down to 2 separate places. Also very blocky, rectilinear constructions. This is pretty massive, 62 kilometers. It's very big. It doesn't look like a natural structure, but you can only imagine what it may have been at one time. And yeah, another one, 62 kilometers, looking like a chessboard. Just there, laying there off the north of the coast of Africa. You can see 2 lines crossing the seabed from the city in the on the lower left. It's 319 kilometers long, I think. I can't see from here. So here are all the cities highlighted in the circles. These straight lines overwritten in red to show the central connection, and the 2 lines at the top. That's not including the smaller lines between the 3 circles on the far left, which are too small to be seen here. And at this point, I would note that the circle in the right, far right, this one, is very, very close to the Nile Delta. And if you look down the bottom, I doubt you can see it, but the water is very, very shallow there. The structure in the sea goes left to right and runs right to left from about 20 meters of sea depth down to about 200. So it'd be pretty easy to find out what these things were. But as you can see, it's quite close to Alexandria, which made me wonder if these were actually the ruins that they've been diving recently. But that would really put the dating out as being completely wrong, because they're saying they're Egyptian, and yet these structures are up to 3,000 meters under the ocean and were buried 5 million years ago, or so we're told. I think it's also worth noting that this is the Nile Delta, which in the past, I'm sure the Nile's been running for a long time, would have been bringing fresh water into that particular area, down into the valleys below, into what is considered to be a salt desert for 5 million years. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, and here you can see the lines that seem to pretty much connect these cities. If they don't completely connect, they go very close. I've got no idea what these are. They run along the seabed at different depths, so they couldn't have been canals originally, because you'd have had the water running up and down. Anyway, that's it. Just a few observations. I'm sure you can all sort it out for yourselves, but as usual, we're not being told the truth. They're diving just that they're in Alexandria, and yet all of these structures that we've seen are the same as the ones close to Alexandria. So we're expected to believe that all of these archaeologists, scientists, with all the satellites, really haven't noticed any of this. And they really don't know what's going on. They're in the dark, just like we are. Anyway, good night, folks. Have a good day and have a good life. Bye-bye.